3.16. 1.
Sarah and I met in college when we were cast in the University of New Hampshire Theater Department's production of Susanna Centeliever's The Basset Table. We met on stage at the Hennessy Theater during the first play rehearsal. We became good friends, and I started walking her home after rehearsal ended on most nights. We fell in love and continued to date each other throughout college. After we graduated, we moved to Chicago together to start a small theater company. Once we decided to get married, we moved back to New Hampshire and had our ceremony on the stage in the Hennessy Theater where we first met.
2.
Back in 2005, I was doing the online dating thing. But this is no online dating story. One morning, I received an email from a guy named Dan in Chicago. Apparently, he thought I was the perfect match for his friend Greg in Boston. I can't remember whether I was feeling really optimistic or really desperate that morning, but I agreed to email Greg. We exchanged a few emails, met, and got along really well. I thought it was amazing that Greg's friend was able to pick me out of thousands of women. Well, it turns out that Dan wasn't so amazing. He had actually emailed over 20 women for Greg on the dating site. So, to all of the women out there who didn't respond to Dan and take a chance on Greg, thank you. He is the love of my life, my husband, and soon-to-be father of my first child.
3.
Pete and I were both single, and we used to go to clubs together on Saturday night. But then he started going out with a girl who he had met at work. After a few weeks, he said to me, "Why don't you come out with us on Saturday? My girlfriend is going to bring one of her friends." To be honest, I wasn't all that enthusiastic about the idea. I'd never been on a blind date before, and I just couldn't imagine it would be a success. On the evening of the date, I was feeling very pessimistic, and I almost canceled. Pete and I had arranged to meet the girls in a club. We got to the club early, and I remember my friend saying, "Here they are now." I looked toward the door, and I thought, well, I really hope the girl on the right is my date. Fortunately, she was. The evening went really well, and 2 years later, we got married. Pete and his girlfriend got married too, and we're still good friends. We usually meet for dinner about once a month.
4.
I was born in Egypt to an Italian father and French mother, but we came to live in London in the early 60s when I was 20. I got a job in a bank, but I didn't have many friends. In those days, it used to be difficult to meet people if you were a foreigner. One evening, I went to a dance at a restaurant, and I saw this gorgeous 18-year-old girl get up from her table and start dancing. I thought I had nothing to lose, and I wrote her a note saying that I was standing by the window, and if she would agree to come out with me, could she please smile at me? I then left the note on her chair. When the music stopped, she went back to her chair, read the note, and smiled at me. That was how it all started. When we decided to get married, at first her mother was totally against the idea, mainly because I was a foreigner, and also I was 11 years older than Leslie. But little by little, she got to like me, and in the end, she treated me like a son.